Top of the table clash in the Premiership this weekend. Exeter first, Bristol second. Both on 20 points, both with a 4-win, 1-loss record. Neither of these teams, I believe, have had matches cancelled due to COVID, but both have had to sit guys out at various points. On paper, the teams seem to be more or less at full strength. There are some names missing, of course, but it looks like it should be a pretty interesting one. It's a 4:30 afternoon game over in the UK, which makes it 5:30 a.m. over here, which is probably slightly too early for me to get out of bed. So I will watch this delayed and avoid looking at any social media, avoiding the news, and hopefully there's no spoilers. I don't think there's a whole bunch of Kiwis playing, so the chances of it being in the news is pretty slim. There's a couple for Bristol, but anyway. I'll go over the lineups quickly, then the odds. But obviously, in terms of just the Premiership itself, Exeter would definitely love to bounce back after that. It has to be an upset loss, right? Especially the margin. What was it, like 30? I wrote it down. 34-5. That's a bit of a hiding, really. Exeter won't be accustomed to that. So they struggled against Wasps last week. And we'll definitely be looking to take out some of that anger on Bristol. Bristol up against Newcastle last week. I saw that game 29-17. Newcastle were undefeated up until that point. A bit of a game of two halves. I seem to remember Bristol kind of running away with it at the end. But it was still a pretty good game. And Newcastle, pushed them at times. So it would be a bit of good build-up for this game on Saturday. For Exeter, you've got Hepburn, Cowan-Dickey, and Williams. So Cowan-Dickey's back in the 23. Whitty and Hill is the second row combo. So Hill's coming back into the 23 as well. Ewers, Armand, and Simmons are there making up the back row. So Armand drops from second row to the number 7 jersey. Hidalgo Klein and Joe Simmons continue on at 9 and 10. Devoto is there. I don't think Slade played last week, so he's in at 13. Witt and Woodburn are the wingers, and Jack Walsh. I don't know if I've seen Jack Walsh play before. He's there at fullback, so there's no sign of O'Flaherty this week. I'm not sure if he's injured, being rested, COVID, close contact, whatever it is. But yeah, you got Thomas Francis on the bench. You got Yandel. You got Skinner. So there is Maunda as well. It's a pretty deep-looking bench for the Chiefs. For the Bears, it's more their regular front row. Like Bristol had to play a bit of a makeshift front row last week with, again, some guys sitting out due to COVID, close contacts and whatnot. So that man Kloska, who was man of the match last week, I think, he made like 19 tackles and just had a stupendous performance. He's not even in the 23. It's Woolmore, Byrne, and Sinclair in the front row. Sinclair did play last week, but he was on the bench. Atwood and Joyce continue on the second row. Luatua is there at number 6, same as last week. Earl comes in at number 7, and Nathan Hughes, who was immense last week. They ran so much through him, man. He's a focal point for a lot of their set plays. He just is so good at drawing defenders, and if he busts them, which he did, I think, like 4 defenders beaten last week, he gets through himself. Otherwise, he draws the defenders to create the space for the other guys. So it'll be a really good contrast between Sam Simmons and Nathan Hughes, because both of those guys, you got to be thinking at some point they're going to be knocking on Billy Vunipola's door for that England lineup. Very different players. So it'll be interesting to see which kind of pack gets on top. Randall starts this week, which means Urin is on the bench. Sheedy still continues on at 10. O'Connor and Randradra are the midfield combo once again. So that'll be a fun one to see Slade up against Randradra. Nolongo is still on the left wing. I've only seen him play like 3 times now. I keep watching bloody Bristol games for some reason. That just seemed to be one of the games to watch. But I've gone from not knowing anything about him to thinking he's pretty bloody useful, isn't he? I think he got a good intercept last week. I don't think it came through with a try, but he seems to have pretty good awareness, some good pace. So, yeah, he's a very useful player, very good pickup. Morahan starts on the right wing, so that means Yohan Lloyd is down to the bench. Piatau continues on at fullback. Speaking of those Kiwis, you got Dan Thomas and Jan Thomas on the bench. Leua is still there on the bench. Afo is on the bench as well. But yeah, like I mentioned, no Kloska, which after last week is a bit sad for him. But I'm not sure. Again, he might be injured. Maybe just a change of scene. Who knows? But yeah. Should be, well, I'm sure Pat Lam knows, to be fair. Should be a pretty good game. The bookies over here have got Bristol losing it. Sorry, I meant to say by Exeter. Exeter winning it by 7. Bristol losing by 7. So, yeah, Exeter at home are the favourites for this one. And Rugby Forecast algorithm is saying Exeter by 11 points. So, either way you look at it, Exeter are the big-time favourites here. And when was the last time they lost? 2 in a row. I don't know. It's been probably quite some time. But yeah, with no Saracens this year in the Premiership, these are two of the big heavyweight teams really going at it. Wasps have been pretty useful. Watch them against Bath today. Certainly a high-scoring one. We'll see if this one can match that game in terms of the intensity. It may not match the scoreboard and nigh on 100 points, but let's hope it's a good watch, especially early on in the morning for us over here in New Zealand. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on this one. How do you think it's going to go? Do you see Bristol sneaking it away from home with that kind of talented backline of theirs? Or do you think Exeter's forwards will be too much? I guess that's also one thing about the stereotypes. Exeter's backs are also pretty bloody good. Likewise, Bristol's forwards are no slouches. So yeah, it'll be a fun one to watch. Anyway, you guys have any thoughts? Talk to you guys soon. See you later.